So let's move on to the fourth episode in this course, what you need to do to prepare for your first piercing. Coming up next on New to Piercing, episode number 41. For those who are new to the channel, welcome to the Body Piercing and Tattooing channel. Hope you're enjoying the videos. Hope you find them helpful and useful, but you may not know who I am. My name is DaVo. I'm a professional piercer and have been since 1994. I own and I operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. I've done another video on this a while back. This is going to be basically a video on what you need to do to prepare or get yourself ready to do your first piercing. We're kind of out of order a little bit, but it's something we need to talk about. So, what we want to do first off is have a consultation with your piercer. A lot of people are this misconception that they can only go into a studio and talk to the piercer if they're getting pierced or changing jewelry or some other nonsense. Most studios, including the Axiom, will allow consultations where you just come in, discuss the piercing, maybe look at some jewelry, and talk about, look at your anatomy and everything else, and kind of talk about what it's going to entail to heal that piercing. You can set up an appointment to do this. Every studio is a little different, but with us, it's 15 minutes long and it's free. Usually, though, if I have 5 minutes, I'm gonna sit down and talk to you because I love educating people about piercings. So, what are some of the things that you should ask questions about in your consultation? It really depends on your lifestyle. So, if you're really active, you're involved in sports, exercise a lot, or you belong to an organization that has a dress code or a uniform or something that may impair your ability to wear that piercing or need to cover it up, you need to talk to your piercer about that. On kind of the same subject would be employment. Really talking to your piercer, understanding where that piercing is going to be located at and the type of jewelry that's going to be in there is where you need to kind of start when you're talking to your employer about piercings that are visible. So it's a good idea to kind of get that stuff out of the way from the very start. The next thing would be, how is this going to affect sleeping? Are you going to be able to sleep on the piercing? Are you going to have to change? Are you going to have to sleep on your other side? Or are you going to have to isolate it? Or are you going to have to raise it off the bed? How do you do that? Talk to your piercer about that. Also, diet. If you're getting an oral piercing done, or even if you're getting just a non-oral piercing done, piercings can affect your diet in the standpoint of you're healing a wound, so you need to eat more healthy foods. With oral piercings, you're going to need to be on kind of a simplistic diet at first and then slowly wean yourself back onto more complex foods. So talking about that diet ahead of time is a good idea so you know what you're getting yourself into. Cross-contamination prevention. It is the biggest part of taking care of and healing a piercing. No way around it. Preventing cross-contamination is extremely important. And your piercer is going to know a lot about this and give you a lot of hints on how to take care of that. And this is usually covered in the consultation. And we'll go into consultations in a couple episodes or so. What supplies? What are you going to need on hand when you're healing this piercing? Are you going to need to buy gauze? Are you going to need to buy different foods to have in stock? Are you going to have to, change how you sleep? So maybe you need some additional bedding or something. Talk to them about anything that may come up. And the last one, is there any special needs that this piercing is going to have? Like downsizing the jewelry, isolating the piercing, sleeping with different bedding, wearing different clothing. All of those things can come into effect with various different piercings because each one of them is kind of a little unique when it comes to that sort of thing. So talk to them about how this is going to change your daily life. Next thing to consider on this would be vacations, business trips, medical procedures, etc. During the healing process, that initial period of time it takes your body to close that open wound, you cannot remove the jewelry for long periods of time. It will cause it to almost immediately close. So if you have a medical procedure coming up, chances are they may ask you to remove it. So it's a good idea to understand that in advance. With vacations, There's a lot of reasons why you, if possible, you do not want to be out of your home environment when healing a piercing. First one being is that it's a hassle. The second one being is you tend to do things when you're out of town, like swimming and etc., and you won't be able to do that with a healing piercing. The other thing is that you're going to possibly be exposed to a few pathogens or germs or microorganisms, fungi, etc., that you've never encountered before because you're not normally in that environment. This could lead to an infection or other problem. And simply, on top of that, you have no control over how clean the environments that you're going to be in are going to be. That's why when anybody comes in and they say they're going on vacation or they're traveling for business or what have you, I usually suggest waiting until they get back. Aftercare products. Most common and generally what pretty much is a standard now is sterile, pre-mixed, everything in a can, saline sprays like Neomed's Piercing Aftercare. Does your piercer stock it? Or is it something that you need to purchase? It's a good idea to have that stuff on hand. Only additional things with oral piercings is you probably want to find an alcohol-free, that is, mouthwash that's antiseptic, such as Biotine. In some cases, a little bit of salt water will help with oral piercings, kind of take the edge off things. So some sea salt. And use it in your cooking. It tends to taste more with less. Setting up the appointment. Ensure that you definitely have the anatomy to get this piercing done. This is why sometimes stopping by the studio and having your piercer take a quick look to make sure that it's even possible is a good idea. Or set up a consultation to do that. Having an appointment is going to ensure that the piercer is going to have the time to actually do the piercing. No matter how busy or slow they are, a lot of times, even when we have days where it's like, yeah, we're taking mostly walk-ins today, even in those cases, you may have to wait hours to get into me, to get a piercing done. So it's a good idea to have that appointment, set time. This is when you show up. This is when it's going to be over. Also, it's not a bad idea if you can to show up a few minutes early. Just don't pressure the piercer. It's like, oh, I got here early. Can I get in now? They will probably be taking a break or something or have something going on that may impair them from getting to you right away. There is time to do it, and there is a set time. The other advantage to scheduling an appointment is that you can plan ahead. You can have the products that you need to heal the piercing in advance. You can plan out your day, know what's going on. It's not impulsive. You're not going to be running around afterwards. You can just kind of relax for the rest of the day. And the last reason why it's a good idea to set up an appointment is it makes a commitment. A lot of us tend to be like, fear is a process of every piercing or body modification there is, whether it's tattooing, piercing, or some of the more extreme stuff. There's always this fear and anxiety about this new experience. Committing to it, putting down a deposit, might be enough to make sure that you show up so you can't talk yourself out of it. Moral support. If you have a friend that's very positive towards piercing positive, I guess, or has a few, bring them along if they're going to be a positive influence. Don't bring along somebody that doesn't want you to get it or is negative because it's not going to make the experience fun. The reason why we want you to have moral support is they can help you through the process. Be there on your side, and it'll be a nice bonding experience for the two of you or three of you. Night before, get a full night's rest, meaning don't stay up till, 5 o'clock in the morning and then go to a appointment at 11. Sleep. Get a full 8, if not more, so that you're well rested and full of energy for that piercing. Clear your schedule for the rest of the day after the piercing to give you some time to kind of recoup and just enjoy yourself. Don't schedule 15 things going on later. Don't be like, well, I'm going to do shopping and then I'm going to go jogging, and then just relax. Have a nice meal before you come into the studio. Plan it out. If your appointment's at, let's say, 3 o'clock, meet your friend for lunch at noon. Have a nice meal at your favorite restaurant. Relax. Get in a good mood, and then come into the studio. This is going to affect two things. The better your mood, the easier the piercing process is going to be, the more calm you are. The other thing is it will keep your blood sugar level, so you're less likely to get lightheaded or feel nauseous or pass out. If there's something that you do that's a stress-relieving activity or exercise, do that right before you come in. If going to a park and walking around a pond for like 20 minutes is going to kind of calm you and center you, do that. If it's, playing a game of golf, have at it. Whatever you consider stress-relieving. Because the less stressed you are, the more calm you are, the better the experience is going to be. Lastly, do not come in drunk or intoxicated. I don't care what it is only going to make your experience getting pierced worse. There's this misunderstanding or misconception that if you are drunk or high, you're not going to feel it as much because you're numb to the pain and all this. No, it usually amplifies all the negative parts of getting pierced. Your anxiety's higher, you're more prone to moving, you're more prone to bleeding, and it's probably going to hurt more because they're amplifiers. They amplify your emotions. They amplify the experience. So sober is best. Do you have any other suggestions for somebody getting their first piercing done? Please leave them in the comments. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Also, check out our live stream every Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Me and Scott sit down and talk about piercing for about an hour or so, and we'll answer your questions if you have any. Live. Only once. But till next time, here's hoping a piercing seal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I would love to see you for your piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in that next video in the course.